The massive view screen aboard the UES Intrepid filled with swirling light as the alien vessel emerged from hyperspace. Admiral Sarah Chen stood motionless, her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she studied the approaching ship. Its design was unlike anything humanity had encountered in their century of space exploration. All sweeping curves and iridescent materials that seemed to defy conventional engineering. "They're hailing us, Admiral," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his communication station. "The translation matrix is ready." Chen nodded, her expression carefully neutral. "Put them through." The alien that appeared on screen was tall and elegant, with silvery skin and multifaceted eyes that reflected the light like precious gems. "Greetings, vessels of Earth. I am High Commander Zaxler of the Galactic Federation. We have been observing your species' expansion into space with great interest." "Welcome to Earth space, High Commander," Chen responded. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Space Force. We're honored to make first contact with your Federation." What followed was a diplomatic dance that would change humanity's place in the cosmos forever. The Federation, it seemed, had been watching humanity's development for decades, waiting for the right moment to make contact. But their careful observation had led to some disturbing conclusions. "Your warships," Zaxler said, his crystalline eyes fixed on Chen. "They are concerning." Chen raised an eyebrow. "Concerning? In what way?" "We have analyzed your vessel designs, your tactical doctrines, your combat simulations. They are unlike anything in our records." Zaxler's voice carried an undercurrent of unease. "Your ships are built not just for defense, but for sustained warfare. Your tactical systems are redundant to a degree that suggests preparation for catastrophic damage. Your weapons..." He paused. "Your weapons are designed to be lethal, not deterrent." "We build our ships to survive, High Commander," Chen replied carefully. "Humanity's history has taught us the value of preparation." "Yes, your history." Zaxler's expression shifted to something approaching fear. "We have studied it extensively. Your species has survived multiple near-extinction events, countless wars, environmental disasters. Each time, you emerged stronger, more resilient, more determined. And now you bring that same drive into space." The implications hung heavy in the air between them. The Federation, Chen realized, wasn't just making first contact. They were conducting a threat assessment. "If I may speak freely," Chen said, choosing her words with care, "it seems you have concerns about our military capabilities." "Admiral, your standard patrol vessel carries enough firepower to devastate a small moon. Your tactical computers can process combat scenarios faster than any in our Federation. Your crews train for conditions that our species would consider unsurvivable." Zaxler's voice grew firm. "The Federation Council has classified human warships as Category X weapons platforms." "Category X?" Chen asked, though she suspected she knew the answer. "Too dangerous to be permitted in standard galactic warfare. The potential for escalation is..." Zaxler seemed to struggle for the right word. "Unacceptable." Chen felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity had barely begun its journey into the stars, and already they were being labeled as too dangerous. But there was something in Zaxler's tone, not just fear, but something else. Respect. Admiration. "What exactly are you proposing, High Commander?" "The Federation Council wishes to establish a dialogue regarding the limitation of human military expansion. In return, we offer membership in the Federation, access to our technology, our trade routes, our knowledge." Chen smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "And if we decline, then we must consider other measures to ensure galactic security." Zaxler's tone was diplomatic, but the threat was clear. "High Commander," Chen said, her voice steady, "humanity has faced extinction multiple times. We've fought ourselves, our environment, our own worst natures. Each time, we've survived, adapted, grown stronger. We built our ships this way because we learned the hard way that the universe is not always kind." She stepped closer to the screen. If you've studied our history as thoroughly as you claim, you know that threats tend to make us more determined, not less. The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Zaxler spoke, his tone thoughtful. Perhaps there is another way to approach this. The Federation faces threats of its own, Admiral. Threats that our conventional military doctrine has struggled to address. Chen's interest was piqued. What kind of threats? The kind that might benefit from humanity's unique perspective on warfare. Zaxler's eyes gleamed. Would you be interested in discussing a different kind of arrangement? One that recognizes humanity's military capabilities as an asset rather than a threat. As Chen processed this unexpected turn, she couldn't help but smile. Humanity had just been deemed too dangerous for galactic warfare. Yet here they were, about to be asked for help. Perhaps there was hope for diplomatic relations after all, even if they had to come through the barrel of a gun. I'm listening, High Commander. I'm listening very carefully indeed. The Federation Council chamber was a marvel of alien architecture, its crystalline dome catching the light of 3 suns and casting rainbow patterns across the assembled delegates. Admiral Chen sat with the human delegation, watching as species from across the galaxy debated humanity's place in the cosmic order. The evidence is clear, declared Sentinel Vix, a towering insectoid whose iridescent carapace clicked with agitation. Human military technology represents an unprecedented threat to galactic stability. Their ships aren't just weapons, they're extinction-level events waiting to happen. Dr. Maya Patel, Earth's leading genotechnologist, stood to address the council. With respect, Sentinel, you're not seeing the full picture. Our ships are built the way they are because we understand something fundamental about survival that the Federation seems to have forgotten. The chamber erupted in murmurs as Patel activated a holographic display. Images of Earth's history flickered through the air: ancient battles, world wars, natural disasters, and near-extinction events that had shaped human development. This, Patel continued, is why we build our ships to be survivors. Every time humanity has faced extinction, we've emerged stronger. We don't just adapt, we revolutionize. We don't just survive, we thrive. High Commander Zaxler leaned forward, his crystalline eyes reflecting the holographic images. Dr. Patel, our analysis suggests that the average human warship carries enough redundant systems to remain operational after sustaining damage that would destroy 3 Federation vessels. Your weapon yields exceed galactic safety protocols by an order of magnitude. Even your civilian ships are built to military-grade specifications. Because we understand that space is unforgiving, Chen interjected. We built our ships not to win wars, but to ensure our species' survival against any threat, known or unknown. The chamber fell silent as a new delegate rose. Ambassador Cathrax of the Nexus Worlds, a species known for their analytical minds and perfect memory, addressed the assembly. I have accessed the historical records provided by Earth. In the past 3 centuries alone, humanity has faced and survived 2 global wars, a climate crisis, an artificial intelligence rebellion, and a near miss with an extinction-level asteroid. Each event should have ended their civilization. Instead, they grew stronger. Holographic displays showed human innovations, ships with layered defenses that could continue fighting even when heavily damaged, weapons designed to adapt to enemy countermeasures, tactical systems that learned and evolved during combat. The classification crisis isn't about the weapons themselves, Cathrax continued. It's about what they represent. Humanity builds its ships this way because they've never had the luxury of assuming peace. They prepare for the worst because they've seen the worst, time and time again. The Federation's security director, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, pulsed with concern. Then what do you suggest? We cannot allow unrestricted deployment of such devastating military capability. Chen stood, her voice carrying across the chamber. You fear our ships because they're built to survive anything. But ask yourselves this, in a galaxy full of unknown threats, wouldn't you want allies who know how to endure? who understand that survival sometimes requires strength. A new hologram appeared. Tactical simulations showing human ships defending against various cosmic threats. Their designs, while deadly, displayed an innovative approach to space combat that many Federation species found fascinating. Our ships aren't just weapons, Chen explained. They're a testament to human ingenuity, our determination to survive against all odds. Yes, they're powerful, because we've learned the hard way that sometimes power is the difference between extinction and survival. Zaxler's expression shifted as he studied the simulations. Perhaps we've been approaching this wrong. Instead of trying to restrict human military development, we should be learning from it. The security director pulsed brightly. Are you suggesting we reclassify human warships? I'm suggesting we recognize them for what they are. Not just weapons, but the products of a species that refuses to accept extinction as an option. Zaxler turned to Chen. Your ships aren't just dangerous, Admiral. They're a warning system, a testament to survival, a declaration that humanity will endure no matter the cost. The chamber erupted in discussion as species debated this new perspective. Some still called for restrictions, but others began to see the value in humanity's approach to survival. Dr. Puttle smiled as she watched the debate unfold. They're beginning to understand, she whispered to Chen. It's not about the weapons. It's about the will to survive. Chen nodded, her eyes on the tactical displays still hovering in the air. Each image showed not just the destructive capability of human ships, but their ability to adapt, to endure, to protect. In a galaxy full of unknown threats, perhaps that was exactly what the Federation needed. Allies who knew how to survive the impossible. As the council session continued, one thing became clear. The classification crisis had evolved into something more significant than a debate about weapons. It had become a discussion about survival, about the role of strength in ensuring peace, and about the unique perspective humanity brought to the galactic community. The emergency alarm shattered the pre-dawn quiet aboard the UES Intrepid. Admiral Chen rushed to the bridge, her mind already racing through possible scenarios. The sight that greeted her stopped her in her tracks. The main view screen showed a Federation outpost being torn apart by something that defied conventional physics. The space around the station writhed and twisted, reality itself seeming to unravel at the edges of the anomaly. Report, Chen barked, settling into her command chair. Federation distress call. Maximum priority. Lieutenant Rodriguez answered. They're calling it a void breach. 3 Federation battle groups already lost. He paused, swallowing hard. They're requesting immediate human assistance. The irony wasn't lost on Chen. Just weeks after classifying human warships as too dangerous for galactic warfare, the Federation faced something that their conventional forces couldn't handle. High Commander Zaxler is asking to come aboard, Rodriguez added. Says it's urgent. Minutes later, Zaxler strode onto the bridge, his usual composure shaken. Admiral, we need your help. The void breaches, they're unlike anything we've encountered. Our weapons pass right through them. Our shields fail. Our best tactical AIs can't predict their behavior. Chen studied the tactical displays, watching as more anomalies appeared across Federation space. What exactly are we dealing with? We believe they're incursions from another dimension, Zaxler explained, his crystalline eyes reflecting the chaos on the screen. Our scientists theorize that some force is actively weakening the barriers between realities. But he hesitated. We never built our ships to handle this kind of threat. But we did, Chen said softly, understanding dawning. Because we never knew what we might face out here. The tactical officer, Commander Sarah Hassan, was already running simulations. Our quantum-locked hull plating might maintain integrity within the anomalies. The redundant systems could keep us functioning, even if primary systems are affected by spatial distortion. And our weapons? Chen asked. The phase-shifted plasma cannons were designed to hit targets in normal and subspace simultaneously. Hassan's fingers flew over her console, With some modifications, we might be able to affect these breaches. Zaxler watched in amazement as the human crew adapted their systems with practiced efficiency. This is why we feared your ships, he realized. You built them to handle the impossible. We built them to survive, Chen corrected. And now we're going to teach the Federation how to do the same. Within hours, the Intrepid led a combined fleet toward the largest void breach. Federation ships had been retrofitted with emergency human protocols, their crews working alongside human tactical advisors. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. All ships, battle formation Delta, Chen commanded. Remember your training. These anomalies don't play by normal rules, but neither do we. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Human warships dove into the heart of the anomalies, their reinforced hulls withstanding forces that shredded conventional vessels. Modified weapons struck at the fabric of reality itself, forcing the breaches to collapse in on themselves. Federation crews watched in awe as human ships executed maneuvers they had deemed impossible, using the chaos of the anomalies to their advantage. Where Federation doctrine called for retreat, humans pressed forward. Where Federation tactics failed, human innovation prevailed. Remarkable, Zaxler breathed, watching as another breach collapsed under concentrated human fire. Your ships aren't just weapons, they're survival machines. That's what we've been trying to tell you, Chen replied, coordinating another strike. Humanity doesn't just prepare for the enemies we know. We prepare for everything we can imagine, and then we prepare for the things we can't. As the battle raged on, more Federation species began to understand. The very features that had made human ships so threatening, their overwhelming firepower, their redundant systems, their ability to fight on even when heavily damaged, were exactly what made them humanity's greatest contribution to galactic security. In the command center of the Federation flagship, species that had once called for human containment now watched human tactical displays with keen interest. They saw not just the raw power of human warships, but the philosophy behind them, the determination to survive, the refusal to accept defeat, the ability to adapt to any threat. We need to completely rethink our approach to defense, one Federation admiral admitted, watching human ships coordinate their attacks. These void breaches won't be the last unknown threat we face. By the time the last anomaly collapsed, the political landscape had shifted dramatically. Federation species that had feared human military capability now sought to learn from it. The classification of human warships as too dangerous was quietly shelved, replaced by a new designation, essential to galactic security. As the combined fleet regrouped, Chen received messages from dozens of Federation worlds requesting human military advisors. The same ships that had been deemed too dangerous for galactic warfare had just saved the Federation from an impossible threat. What happens now? Zaxler asked as they watched repair crews at work. Chen smiled, gesturing to where human and Federation crews worked side by side, sharing knowledge and experiences. Now we teach each other. You show us the wonders of the galaxy, and we show you how to survive its horrors. The alliance born in that battle would reshape the galaxy. Human warships, once feared, became the foundation of a new approach to galactic defense, one that recognized that in a universe full of unknowns, survival sometimes required being dangerous enough to face any threat. 3 months after the Void Breach crisis, the Combined Defense Academy on Mars hummed with activity. Beams from across the Federation filled its halls, all here to learn what had once been deemed too dangerous to share: human military doctrine. Admiral Chen watched from an observation deck as Commander Hassan led a mixed group of alien officers through combat simulations. Below, holographic representations of ships danced through space, executing maneuvers that would have been considered reckless by Federation standards just months ago. Your pilot just deliberately flew into an asteroid field, remarked Keith Thrax, the Nexus World analyst who had become a strong advocate for human Federation cooperation, in pursuit of a superior force. Watch, Chen said with a slight smile. The human-designed ship twisted through the asteroid field, using the space debris as cover while launching precisely calculated strikes at the pursuing vessels. Each shot used the asteroids to multiply its effect, creating a cascade of destruction that forced the enemy fleet to scatter. "Impossible," breathed the Federation tactical officer. "The computational requirements alone are handled by human tactical systems," Hassan explained, pausing the simulation. "We learned long ago that space combat isn't just about firepower. It's about using everything at your disposal. Asteroids, radiation fields, gravitational anomalies. They're all tools if you know how to use them." In another training bay, Dr. Patel supervised the integration of human defensive technologies with Federation systems. The results were extraordinary. Federation shields, already formidable, became nearly impenetrable when layered with human quantum lock technology. Human weapon systems, enhanced by Federation energy manipulation, achieved unprecedented precision and power. "The key," Patel explained to a group of Federation engineers, "is to stop thinking in terms of singular solutions. Human ships have multiple redundant systems, not because we expect them all to work, but because we expect some to fail. We plan for failure, adapt to it, and overcome it." The real breakthrough came during a live-fire exercise in the outer solar system. A combined fleet of human and Federation vessels faced off against automated drones programmed with various threat scenarios. High Commander Zaxler stood beside Chen on the Intrepid's bridge, watching as the fleet executed increasingly complex maneuvers. "Scenario Omega," Chen commanded. "Full tactical freedom." The fleet's response demonstrated how far they'd come. Federation ships adopted human-style aggressive positioning, while human vessels utilized Federation energy management techniques. When the drones launched their attack, they faced not two different tactical doctrines working in parallel, but a single unified response that drew from both traditions. "Beautiful," Zaxler murmured as the fleet moved like a single organism, each ship covering the other's vulnerabilities while maximizing their combined strengths. "We would never have attempted such coordination before." "Because you were too focused on preventing defeat," Chen replied. "We focus on achieving victory, no matter the cost." The exercise culminated in a scenario that would have been suicide under traditional Federation doctrine, a direct assault on a numerically superior force. But the combined fleet, using human tactical innovations and Federation technology, turned their apparent disadvantage into strength. "Look at their formation," Hassan pointed out to the observing officers. Federation ships using their superior shields to protect human vessels during their attack runs. Human ships providing covering fire that lets Federation vessels maneuver in ways they never considered possible. The results were undeniable. The combined fleet achieved victory scenarios that neither humanity nor the Federation could have managed alone. More importantly, they did it while maintaining the safety protocols that had made the Federation initially fear human military power. "We're not just teaching them to fight like humans," Patel noted to Chen later, as they reviewed the exercise data. "We're learning from them too. Their emphasis on preservation of life, their defensive technologies, it's making us better." The impact extended beyond military applications. Federation species began adopting human approaches to problem-solving in civilian projects. Human emphasis on redundancy and survival found its way into Federation infrastructure design. The classification that had once threatened to isolate humanity now drove an unprecedented era of technological and cultural exchange. "Perhaps," Cathrax suggested during a strategic planning session, "we needed this trial by fire." The Federation had grown too comfortable, too set in its ways. Humanity reminded us that survival sometimes requires evolution. Chen couldn't help but agree. Every day brought new developments as human and Federation minds worked together, combining their strengths and compensating for each other's weaknesses. The same ships that had been deemed too dangerous for galactic warfare were now becoming the foundation of a new galactic defense doctrine. As she watched another group of Federation officers master human combat techniques, Chen reflected on how far they'd come. The Federation had feared human military power because they didn't understand its purpose. Now they saw the truth. Humanity's strength wasn't in their weapons, but in their determination to survive and help others do the same. Ready for the next phase? Zaxler asked, approaching with a datapad showing plans for expanded joint operations. Chen nodded, her eyes on the future they were building together. Always ready. That's the human way. 1 year after the Void Breach crisis, the gleaming spires of the new Galactic Defense Command rose from the lunar surface, a testament to the unprecedented cooperation between humanity and the Federation. The facility represented everything they had achieved together. Human resilience merged with Federation elegance, strength tempered by wisdom. Admiral Chen stood at the ceremonial podium, addressing representatives from 100 worlds. Behind her, through the transparent dome, Earth hung like a blue jewel in the black velvet of space. A year ago, the Federation classified our warships as too dangerous for galactic warfare. She began, her voice carrying across the assembly. Today, we inaugurate an institution built on the principle that turned that fear into hope. The determination to survive, to protect, to endure. The assembled delegates could see the truth of her words in the combined fleet that orbited above them. Federation ships now bore the distinctive reinforced armor of human design, while human vessels gleamed with the advanced shield technology of their alien allies. But the changes went far deeper than mere technology. The Galactic Defense Command isn't just about ships or weapons, High Commander Zaxler added, joining Chen at the podium. It's about a fundamental shift in how we approach survival in an uncertain universe. Displays around the chamber showed the fruits of their collaboration. New ship designs that combined human redundancy with Federation efficiency, training programs that merged human tactical aggression with Federation strategic precision, defense systems that drew from both cultures' understanding of survival. Dr. Patel, now heading the Joint Research and Development Division, presented the latest breakthrough, a revolutionary defensive system that could protect entire star systems based on scaled-up human warship technology. We're not just building better weapons, she explained to the assembly. We're creating better guardians. Every advance in our defensive capabilities reduces the need for offensive action. Every improvement in our survival systems makes peaceful exploration safer. The impact of human Federation cooperation extended far beyond military applications. Federation worlds began incorporating human-style redundancy into their civilian infrastructure. Human cities adopted Federation environmental harmonization techniques. The exchange of ideas flowed both ways, creating a renaissance of innovation across the galaxy. Look at what we've achieved together, Cathrax observed, gesturing to a holographic display of the new combined fleet. Federation ships once fled from anomalies like the Void Breaches. Now they stand their ground, protected by human-inspired defense systems. Human ships, once feared for their destructive potential, now lead peacekeeping missions with Federation diplomatic teams aboard. Commander Hassan, recently promoted to lead the Combined Fleet Training Program, demonstrated the evolution of their tactical doctrine. The display showed ships moving with impossible grace, combining human boldness with Federation precision in ways that would have seemed unthinkable a year ago. We don't just train pilots anymore, she explained. We train survivors. Every officer, human or Federation, learns to think beyond victory or defeat. They learn to adapt, to endure, to protect. The ceremony reached its climax with the commissioning of the first purpose-built human Federation hybrid vessel, the GDS Unity. Larger than any previous warship, it incorporated the best aspects of both civilizations' approach to space travel. Human redundancy and survival systems merged seamlessly with Federation energy manipulation and environmental technology. This ship represents our future, Chen declared, as the Unity took its place at the head of the combined fleet, not just as defenders of the galaxy, but as pioneers of a new way of thinking about survival itself. The assembly watched as the Unity demonstrated its capabilities. Its human-designed tactical systems coordinated perfectly with Federation energy matrices, creating defense screens that could withstand forces that would have destroyed any previous vessel. Its weapons, precisely calibrated and carefully controlled, demonstrated power that could be used with surgical precision rather than overwhelming force. "We've moved beyond the question of whether human warships are too dangerous," Zaxler noted. "We now understand that true security comes not from restricting power, but from learning to use it wisely." As the ceremony concluded, Chen found herself in the observation dome, watching Earth and the combined fleet above it. A year ago, humanity had stood on the brink of isolation, their military capabilities deemed too dangerous for the galaxy. Now they stood at the heart of a new galactic order, their determination to survive having inspired a revolution in how the Federation approached the challenges of space. "What comes next?" Zaxler asked, joining her at the window. Chen smiled, watching as Federation cadets and human officers mingled below, sharing stories and experiences. "We keep pushing forward. We keep learning from each other. And most importantly, we remember what brought us here. The understanding that survival isn't just about being strong enough to stand alone, but being wise enough to stand together." The stars beckoned beyond the fleet, holding whom knew what challenges and opportunities. But for the first time, humanity and the Federation faced them not as fearful rivals, but as trusted allies. The same drive that had once made human warships too dangerous now formed the foundation of a new era of galactic cooperation and security. As night fell on the lunar surface, the lights of the Galactic Defense Command shone like a beacon, a promise to all species that in this vast and often dangerous universe, they would face whatever came next together, and they would survive. First contact and deception. The massive Zarkonian warship Dominance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, its sleek obsidian hull absorbing what little starlight reached this far from the sun. Admiral Vexthor stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes narrowed as he surveyed the primitive system before him. "Status report," he barked, mandibles clicking in anticipation. "All systems nominal, Admiral." His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Nix, responded crisply. "The rest of the fleet will arrive within the hour. Our long-range scans confirm the third planet is inhabited by a pre-FTL civilization." Vexthor's lipless mouth curled into what passed for a smile among his species. "Excellent. Prepare the diplomatic party. We'll make contact and offer our protection." As the Dominance approached Earth, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to human detection systems, Vexthor couldn't help but feel a twinge of disappointment. The Zarkonian Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds, but rarely had they encountered a species so apparently defenseless. Where was the challenge, the thrill of battle? Little did he know, appearances can be deceiving. Dr. Elena Reeves sprinted through the corridors of the United Earth Defense Force's subterranean headquarters, her heart pounding. She burst into the command center, where General Marcus Stone stood before a massive holographic display of the solar system. "General," she gasped, catching her breath. The quantum detection grid just picked up an anomaly at the edge of the system. It matches the theoretical signatures we've been studying. Stone's weathered face remained impassive, but his eyes betrayed a mix of excitement and trepidation. "You're certain?" Elena nodded emphatically. "Yes, sir. It's them." First contact. The general turned to his communications officer. "Alert all UEDF personnel. Initiate Protocol Omega." As klaxons began to blare throughout the facility, Stone placed a hand on Elena's shoulder. "Doctor, it's time to see if your theories hold water. Are you ready?" She swallowed hard, then nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be, sir." Back on the Dominance, Vexthor watched with amusement as a crude radio transmission was beamed towards his ship. These humans were so predictably eager to make contact. "Admiral," Nix reported, "we're receiving a message in multiple Earth languages. They're inviting us to send a delegation to their United Nations in a place called New York." Vexthor's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Perfect. Prepare my shuttle and a small security detail. It's time to introduce ourselves to our new subjects. As the Zarkonian shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, cloaked from prying eyes, Vexthor marveled at the sprawling city below. These humans had achieved much in their short history, he had to admit. Perhaps they would make useful servants after all. The shuttle touched down on a landing pad atop the United Nations building, where a small welcoming committee awaited. Vexthor emerged, flanked by his guards, and approached the assembled humans. A tall, distinguished man with graying hair stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth," he said, his voice steady despite the momentous occasion. "I am Secretary General Alejandro Ruiz. On behalf of humanity, we extend our greetings and hope for peaceful cooperation between our species." Vexthor inclined his head in a gesture of mock respect. "I am Admiral Vexthor of the Zarkonian Empire. We come in peace, offering our protection and guidance to your developing world." As the two leaders shook hands, a curious human custom Vexthor had studied, he noticed a petite woman with striking green eyes watching him intently. There was something in her gaze that unsettled him, a spark of intelligence that seemed out of place among these primitives. Little did Vexthor know, Dr. Elena Reeves was analyzing every detail of the alien visitors, feeding data to the hidden quantum computers that would unlock the secrets of Zarkonian technology. The delegation moved inside for formal talks, and Vexthor began to outline the Zarkonian Empire's offer of protection. Thinly veiled subjugation that had ensnared countless other species. To his surprise, the humans listened politely, asking insightful questions that hinted at a deeper understanding of galactic politics than he had anticipated. As the day wore on, Vexthor found himself growing increasingly frustrated. These humans were proving more adept at diplomacy than he had expected, deftly sidestepping his attempts to maneuver them into a position of subservience. "Perhaps," Secretary General Ruiz suggested smoothly, "we should take a break to consider your generous offer. We would be honored if you would join us for a state dinner this evening." Vexthor's mandibles clicked in irritation, but he maintained his composure. "Of course. We look forward to continuing our discussions." As the Zarkonian delegation returned to their shuttle, Vexthor turned to Nex. "Prepare the fleet. If these humans won't submit willingly, we'll show them the true might of the Empire." Back in the UN building, Elena hurried to a secure communications room. "General Stone," she reported, "it's just as we suspected. They're here to conquer, not cooperate. But I've gathered enough data to begin implementing our countermeasures." Stone's holographic image nodded grimly. "Good work, Doctor. We've detected their fleet approaching. It's time to show these aliens that humanity isn't as defenseless as they think." As night fell over New York, the Zarkonian fleet decloaked in Earth's orbit, a terrifying armada of sleek warships that blotted out the stars. Vexthor stood on the bridge of the Dominance, savoring the moment before what he assumed would be an easy victory. "Open a channel to their leaders," he commanded. "It's time to deliver our ultimatum." But before he could speak, alarms blared across the ship. "Admiral," Nix cried out in shock, "we're detecting massive energy signatures all over the planet's surface." Vexthor's four eyes widened in disbelief as he watched hundreds of advanced defense platforms emerge from hidden bunkers, oceans, and mountain ranges across the globe. Satellites previously thought to be simple communications relays transformed into weapon systems that rivaled Zarkonian technology. In the UEDF command center, General Stone allowed himself a small smile. "Looks like the element of surprise is on our side for once," he muttered. Then, raising his voice, he gave the order that would change the course of human history. "All units, this is not a drill. Operation Cosmic Shield is now in effect. Defend Earth at all costs." As the first salvos of Earth's hidden defenses lanced into space, Vexthor realized with dawning horror that he had gravely underestimated humanity. The battle for Earth was about to begin, and its outcome was far from certain. Earth's hidden defenses revealed. Admiral Vex Thor's mandibles clicked furiously as he watched the impossible unfold before him. The primitive planet he had sought to conquer was rapidly revealing itself to be anything but defenseless. "Status report," he bellowed, his voice cutting through the chaos on the Dominance's bridge. Sub-Commander Nyx's fingers danced across holographic displays, her voice tight with barely contained panic. "Admiral, we're detecting advanced energy shields activating around major population centers. Our initial strikes are being deflected." Vex Thor snarled in frustration. How could this be? Their intelligence had indicated a pre-FTL civilization, ripe for the taking. Instead, they faced a technological marvel that rivaled even Zarkonian might. On the planet's surface, Dr. Elena Reeves stood in the heart of the UEDF command center, her eyes fixed on the massive holographic display showing the unfolding battle. Streaks of light crisscrossed the image as Earth's defense platforms engaged the alien fleet. "Doctor," General Stone's gruff voice cut through her concentration. "Your quantum shielding is holding. Now it's time for Phase 2. Elena nodded, her fingers flying across her console. "Initiating Project Daedalus," she announced, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. Across the globe, hidden hangars began to open. From the depths of the Mariana Trench to the frozen wastes of Antarctica, sleek spacecraft emerge. Earth's secret fleet, built using reverse-engineered alien technology, gleaned from decades of covered observation. In New York, Secretary General Ruiz addressed the stunned global population via an emergency broadcast. "Citizens of Earth," he began, his voice firm and reassuring, "the time has come to reveal the truth. For over a century, we have prepared for this day. The world's governments united in secret to develop defenses against extraterrestrial threats. Today, we stand together against those who would seek to subjugate us." As Ruiz spoke, the first wave of Earth's fighters streaked into the atmosphere, engaging the surprise Zarkonian forces. These were no ordinary pilots, but the best of the best, trained in secret facilities using advanced simulations based on observed alien tactics. Back on the Dominance, Vex Thor watched in disbelief as his fleet began to take heavy losses. "Impossible," he muttered, his strategic mind racing to find a solution. "Nyx, analyze their technology. How are they matching us?" Nyx's response was interrupted by a violent shudder that rocked the massive warship. "Admiral, multiple breaches in our lower decks. They've boarded us." In the bowels of the Dominance, squads of human soldiers in advanced exosuits materialized, having bypassed the Zarkonian shields using experimental quantum tunneling technology. Leading them was Major Jack Harper, a grizzled veteran who had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. "Remember your training," he growled into his comm as his team engaged the first group of stunned Zarkonian defenders. "We take this ship, we turn the tide." The battle raged both in space and within the flagships of the Zarkonian fleet. Earth's forces, though outnumbered, fought with a ferocity and skill that caught the invaders completely off guard. Dr. Reeves monitored the conflict from the command center, coordinating the global defense network. "General," she called out, "the quantum link is stable. We're receiving tactical data from the boarding teams." Stone nodded grimly. "Good. Use it to update our combat eye. Let's show these aliens what human ingenuity can do." As the fight continued, it became clear that humanity's greatest strength lay not in its hidden technology, but in its adaptability and unpredictable nature. Zarkonian tactics, honed over centuries of galactic conquest, faltered in the face of human improvisation and sheer determination. Vex Thor, realizing the tide was turning, made a desperate gambit. "Prepare the singularity cannon," he ordered. "We'll wipe out their command structure and break their will to fight." But even as the Dominance's primary weapon began to power up, alarms blared across the ship. Major Harper and his team had fought their way to the engine room, armed with a device of Dr. Reeves' design. "Package is in place," Harper reported, his voice strained from exertion. "Awaiting final authorization." In the command center, Elena took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of years of theoretical work. "General," she said, turning to Stone, "if this works, it'll disable their entire fleet. But if I'm wrong?" Stone placed a hand on her shoulder, his expression softening for a moment. "The fate of our world rests on your calculations, Doctor. Make the call." Elena nodded, steeling herself. "Major Harper, initiate Project Prometheus." On the Dominance, Harper activated the device. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a wave of energy pulsed outward, passing through the ship's hull as if it weren't there. Vexthor felt it first, a strange sensation, as if reality itself was being rewritten around him. "What's happening?" he demanded, but his words died in his throat as he watched in horror as every piece of Zarkonian technology on the bridge simply shut down. The effect rippled across the entire fleet. Weapons fell silent, engines died, and even personal devices flickered and went dark. In an instant, the mighty armada was reduced to little more than metal hulls drifting in space. "By the eternal void," Nyx whispered, her eyes wide with fear. "What have they done to us?" On Earth, celebrations erupted as news of the victory spread. But in the UEDF command center, the mood remained tense. They had won the battle, but Elena knew the war was far from over. "The selective EMP worked perfectly," she reported, studying the incoming data. "Their tech is offline, but ours is unaffected. We've opened a window of opportunity, but it won't last forever." General Stone nodded, his mind already racing with the implications. "Then we need to act fast. Doctor, I need options for our next move. And someone get me a direct line to that alien admiral. It's time to negotiate from a position of strength." As the disabled Zarkonian ships hung motionless in orbit, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era. They had revealed themselves as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy, but the true test was yet to come. How would they handle their newfound power? Would they seek justice, revenge, or forge a path towards peaceful coexistence? The answers to these questions would shape the future not just of Earth, but of the entire galaxy. And at the center of it all stood Dr. Elena Reeves, her brilliant mind already grappling with the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. Humans strike back. The vast control room of the UEDF headquarters buzzed with activity as humanity prepared for its next move. Dr. Elena Reeves stood before a holographic display, her fingers dancing across invisible interfaces as she analyzed the disabled Zarkonian fleet. "Their systems are completely offline," she reported to General Stone, who loomed beside her like a granite statue. "But it's only a matter of time before they find a way to reboot." Stone nodded grimly. "Then we need to act fast. What's our window?" "Based on our understanding of their tech, I'd say we have about 12 hours before they can get basic systems back online," Elena replied, her brow furrowed in concentration. The general's weathered face hardened with resolve. "Then that's our timetable. Doctor, I need you to prep a team. We're going to board that flagship and download everything we can from their databases." Elena's eyes widened. "Sir, with all due respect, I'm not a soldier. I'm a scientist." Stone's expression softened slightly. "You're the only one who fully understands their technology, Doctor. We need you up there." Before Elena could respond, a junior officer approached, saluting crisply. "Sir, we've established communication with the alien flagship. Admiral Vexthor is requesting to speak with Earth's leaders." Stone's lips curled into a grim smile. "Patch him through. It's time we laid out our terms." The holographic display flickered, revealing the alien admiral's face. Vexthor's mandibles clicked in barely contained fury as he glared at the humans before him. "You have committed an act of war against the Zarkonian Empire," he snarled. "When our reinforcements arrive." "They won't be coming, Admiral." Stone cut him off, his voice cold as steel. "We've already dispatched ships to your rally points. Any reinforcements will be met with the same fate as your fleet." Vexthor's 4 eyes widened in shock, then narrowed dangerously. Impossible. You're bluffing. Elena stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. We've been studying your kind for decades, Admiral. Did you really think we'd be unprepared? The alien leader's mandibles clicked rapidly. A sign of agitation, Elena noted. What do you want? Vex Thor finally asked, his voice a low growl. Unconditional surrender, Stone replied without hesitation. You will order your troops to stand down and prepare to be boarded. We'll be taking control of your ships and accessing your databases. Vex Thor's face contorted in what Elena assumed was the Zarkonian equivalent of a sneer. And if we refuse? Stone's expression remained impassive. Then we'll be forced to demonstrate that our earlier attack was just a small sample of what we're capable of. The communication ended abruptly as Vex Thor cut the transmission. Stone turned to Elena, his eyes glinting with determination. Looks like we're doing this the hard way. Prep your team, Doctor. You leave in 1 hour. As Elena hurried to gather her equipment and brief her team, activity across the globe reached a fever pitch. Earth's hidden fleet, now fully revealed, took up defensive positions around the planet. Meanwhile, specially trained boarding parties prepared to storm the disabled Zarkonian ships. Major Jack Harper, still aboard the Dominance, received new orders. His team would secure key areas of the flagship, paving the way for Dr. Reeves and her scientific unit. Lock and load, people, Harper growled to his squad. Round 2 is about to begin. Back on Earth, Elena boarded a sleek transport ship, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and fear. As the craft lifted off, streaking towards the Dominance, she couldn't help but marvel at how quickly her life had changed. Just days ago, she had been a theoretical physicist, working on abstract concepts. Now she was at the forefront of humanity's first interstellar conflict. The transport ship docked with the Dominance, connecting to an airlock that Harper's team had secured. Elena stepped onto the alien vessel, her breath catching in her throat as she took in the otherworldly architecture. Stay close, Doc, Harper said, materializing beside her like a heavily armed shadow. We've pacified most of the ship, but there could still be pockets of resistance. They made their way through the cavernous corridors, Elena's team lugging equipment designed to interface with Zarkonian systems. As they approached the ship's central computer core, they encountered their first obstacle. A sealed blast door. Can you get us through? Harper asked, eyeing the door warily. Elena nodded, pulling out a device of her own design. Give me 2 minutes. As she worked, the ship suddenly shuddered violently. Harper's comm crackled to life with an urgent message from Earth. The Zarkonians are attempting to reactivate their systems. We need that data now. Elena's fingers flew across her device, sweat beading on her forehead. Come on, she muttered. With a satisfying beep, the blast door slid open. The team rushed inside, quickly setting up their equipment. Elena interfaced with the alien computer, her eyes widening as she began to access its vast database. This is incredible, she breathed. Their technological archives, star charts, records of other species. It's all here. But their victory was short-lived. Alarms began to blare throughout the ship as systems started coming back online. Time to go, Doc, Harper shouted, laying down suppressing fire as Zarkonian soldiers began to converge on their position. Elena worked frantically, transferring as much data as she could. Just a few more seconds. As the last of the critical information was downloaded, Harper grabbed Elena's arm. That's it. We're leaving. They fought their way back to the transport ship, Harper's team displaying the full extent of their advanced training and equipment. As they lifted off from the Dominance, Elena watched in awe as Earth's fleet engaged the reactivating Zarkonian ships. The space around Earth lit up with weapons fire, a dazzling and terrifying display of advanced technology. But this time, humanity had the upper hand. Armed with the knowledge gleaned from Elena's download, Earth's forces were able to anticipate and counter Zarkonian tactics. As they re-entered Earth's atmosphere, Elena clutched the data drive containing the alien archives. She knew that the information within would change the course of human history forever. Back at UEDF headquarters, General Stone greeted them with rare smile. "Well done, both of you. Doctor, I hope that data was worth the risk." Elena nodded emphatically. "It's more than we could have hoped for, General. With this, we can not only defend ourselves, but potentially reach out to other species in the galaxy." Stone's expression turned serious. "And what about the Zarkonians? Their fleet is in retreat, but they'll be back." Elena's eyes gleamed with determination. "Then we'll be ready. And this time, we're taking the fight to them." As the implications of her words sunk in, a hush fell over the command center. Humanity had successfully defended itself against an alien invasion, but now they stood on the precipice of becoming an interstellar power themselves. The Zarkonian threat had been repelled, but the real challenges and opportunities were just beginning. As Earth celebrated its victory, Elena and her colleagues prepared for the next phase of their journey into the cosmos. Alien homeworld infiltration. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, the UEDF flagship Prometheus hovered at the edge of Zarkonian space, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to enemy sensors. On the bridge, Dr. Elena Reeves stood beside Captain Zora Chen, studying a holographic display of the alien homeworld. "Are you sure about this, Doctor?" Chen asked, her voice tinged with concern. "It's not too late to abort the mission." Elena nodded, her face set with determination. "We don't have a choice, Captain. The intel we gathered suggests the Zarkonians are preparing for a massive counterattack. We need to end this conflict before it escalates into full-scale galactic war." In the months following humanity's unexpected victory, Earth had undergone a rapid transformation. The reverse-engineered Zarkonian technology, combined with Elena's brilliant innovations, had propelled human civilization forward by centuries. But with this progress came new challenges and responsibilities. "Very well," Chen sighed, turning to her communications officer. "Signal the infiltration team. Operation Trojan Horse is a go." Deep within the Prometheus, Major Jack Harper and his elite squad made final preparations. Their mission was as daring as it was crucial: infiltrate the Zarkonian capital, locate their central command, and implant a virus designed by Dr. Reeves to cripple their military infrastructure. Elena approached Harper as he checked his gear. "Remember, Jack," she said, handing him a small, innocuous-looking device. "This needs to be connected directly to their primary network node. Once activated, it'll give us complete control of their systems." Harper nodded, securing the device. "Don't worry, Doc. We'll get it done." He paused, studying her face. "You sure you want to come along? It's going to be dangerous down there." Elena managed a wry smile. "Someone needs to make sure that thing works properly. Besides, I've picked up a few tricks since our last adventure." As the infiltration team boarded their stealth shuttle, Captain Chen's voice came over the comms. "Good luck, all of you. The fate of Earth rests on your shoulders." The journey to the Zarkonian capital was tense, but uneventful, their advanced cloaking technology proving effective against alien defenses. As they approached the sprawling metropolis, Elena marveled at the alien architecture, towering spires of obsidian and chrome that seemed to defy gravity. "Approaching drop point," the pilot announced. "Prepare for atmospheric insertion." The team donned their exosuits, specially designed to mimic Zarkonian biosignatures. As the shuttle's rear hatch opened, revealing the alien cityscape below, Harper turned to his squad. "Remember your training. Stay in character, and if things go sideways, rendezvous at the extraction point." One by one, they leaped from the shuttle, their suits' grav modulators allowing them to descend silently into the heart of enemy territory. Elena's heart raced as she touched down in a narrow alleyway, the alien world coming to life around her. "Comms check," Harper's voice crackled in her ear. "Sound off." As the team confirmed their positions, Elena activated her suit's holographic disguise. To any observers, she now appeared as a typical Zarkonian citizen. Intel suggests the central command node is located beneath the Imperial Spire, Elena said, gesturing towards a massive structure dominating the skyline. We should be able to access it through the public transport system. The team moved through the crowded streets, their practiced movements and mannerisms, allowing them to blend seamlessly with the alien populace. Elena found herself fascinated by the everyday life of the Zarkonians, so alien, yet in many ways familiar. As they approached the public transport hub, a commotion erupted nearby. A group of Zarkonian soldiers were roughing up a civilian, their mandibles clicking aggressively. "Stay focused," Harper warned as Elena instinctively tensed. "We can't blow our cover." But as they watched, the situation escalated. The civilian, a smaller Zarkonian with distinctive markings, was thrown to the ground. Something inside Elena snapped. Before Harper could stop her, she strode towards the altercation. "What seems to be the problem here?" she demanded in flawless Zarkonian, her holographic disguise projecting an air of authority. The soldiers turned, momentarily taken aback. This wretch was spreading seditious ideas, one of them snarled, questioning the wisdom of our war against the humans. Elena's mind raced. Could there be dissent within Zarkonian society? She made a split-second decision. "I'll take it from here," she said imperiously. "This one clearly needs re-education." The soldiers hesitated, then nodded curtly before moving on. Elena helped the civilian to their feet, acutely aware of Harper's disapproving glare. "Thank you," the Zarkonian whispered. "I am Zixera. There are more of us who question this war. If you truly wish to help, meet me at the Twilight Cantina after nightfall." Before Elena could respond, Zixera melted into the crowd. Harper appeared at her side, his voice low and angry. "What the hell was that, Doc? You could have blown the entire operation." Or, Elena countered, her mind whirling with possibilities, "we may have just found the key to ending this conflict without further bloodshed." As the team boarded the transport to the Imperial Spire, tension hung heavy in the air. They had a mission to complete, but Elena couldn't shake the feeling that their encounter with Zixera could change everything. The transport wound its way through the towering structures of the Zarkonian capital, giving the human infiltrators a breathtaking view of alien life. Elena's scientific curiosity warred with her sense of duty as she observed the advanced technology seamlessly integrated into every aspect of Zarkonian society. As they neared the Imperial Spire, Harper gathered the team for a final briefing. "Remember, our primary objective is to implant the virus. Everything else is secondary. Clear?" The squad nodded, but Elena caught Harper's pointed look. She knew he was worried about her impulsive actions earlier, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more at play here than a simple military operation. Disembarking at the base of the Imperial Spire, the team split into smaller groups to avoid suspicion. Elena and Harper, posing as maintenance workers, made their way to a service entrance. "You sure you can get us in?" Harper muttered as they approached a heavily secured door. Elena nodded, pulling out a small device. "Their encryption is good, but ours is better." Within moments, the door slid open silently. As they descended into the bowels of the spire, the true scale of the Zarkonian war machine became apparent. Massive computer banks lined the walls, processing data from across the Empire. Holographic displays showed troop movements and battle plans for dozens of worlds. "There," Elena whispered, pointing to a central column pulsing with energy. "That's the primary network node. If we can connect the device there, we'll have control of their entire military infrastructure." But as they approached the node, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. "Intruder alert!" A mechanized voice boomed in Zarkonian. "Unknown biosignatures detected in Sector 7. "Damn it," Harper cursed. "Our disguises must have glitched. We need to move now." As Zarkonian security forces converged on their position, Harper and Elena made a desperate dash for the central node. Plasma bolts sizzled past them, leaving scorch marks on the metallic walls. "Cover me," Elena shouted, sliding towards the node with a virus device in hand. Harper lay down, suppressing fire, his advanced weaponry keeping the Zarkonian forces at bay. With trembling hands, Alina connected the device to the node. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then the pulsing energy changed from a deep purple to a brilliant blue. "It's working," she cried triumphantly. "We have control." But their victory was short-lived. As more security forces poured into the room, Harper grabbed Alina's arm. "Time to go, Doc. Extraction point. Now." They fought their way back through the facility, the rest of the team converging on their position. As they emerged onto the streets of the Zarkonian capital, chaos reigned. The virus had spread throughout the city's systems, causing widespread disruption. "Prometheus, this is Harper," the major barked into his comm. "Mission accomplished, but we need immediate extraction. Things are getting hot down here." As they raced towards the rendezvous point, Alina couldn't help but think of Zixera and the promise of a peaceful solution. Had they just squandered an opportunity for true understanding between their species? The roar of engines filled the air as their extraction shuttle decloaked above them. As plasma fire rained down around them, the team made a desperate leap for the open hatch. Alina looked back at the alien city, now in turmoil, as the shuttle's doors closed. They had completed their mission, but at what cost? And what unforeseen consequences would their actions have for both humanity and the Zarkonians? As the shuttle streaked towards the safety of the Prometheus, Alina knew that the true challenge was just beginning. They had struck a decisive blow against the Zarkonian Empire, but the path to lasting peace remained uncertain. Unexpected alliance and resolution. The Prometheus rocketed away from the Zarkonian capital, its stealth systems fully engaged. On the bridge, Dr. Elena Reeves stood beside Captain Zora Chen, her mind racing with the implications of their daring mission. "The virus has crippled their military infrastructure," Chen reported, her eyes scanning the holographic displays. "Their fleet is in disarray, and their ground forces are struggling to maintain order in the capital." Elena nodded, her brow furrowed. "But at what cost? We may have won the battle, but I can't shake the feeling that we've made a terrible mistake." Chen placed a hand on the scientist's shoulder. "You did what was necessary to protect Earth, Doctor. Sometimes difficult choices have to be made." "I know," Elena sighed, "but I can't help wondering if there might have been another way. What if we hadn't resorted to sabotage and deception?" Before Chen could respond, their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Major Jack Harper and his team. The seasoned soldier's face was set in a grim expression as he approached. "Doctor, we need to talk," Harper said, his voice low. "I think you may have made a connection down there that could change everything." Alina's eyes widened. "You mean Zixera? What do you know?" Harper gestured for them to follow him to a secure briefing room. Once they were alone, he began to explain. "While we were making our way to the extraction point, my team encountered a group of Zarkonians who seemed different. They weren't trying to apprehend us, but rather, they were fleeing the chaos we caused." He paused, running a hand through his short-cropped hair. "One of them approached us, claiming to be part of a growing resistance movement against the war. They call themselves the Enlightened, and they believe the Zarkonian leadership has been corrupted by greed and power." Alina's mind raced as she processed this new information. The Enlightened, that must be who Zixera was referring to. They're against the war, just as we are. Chen's expression darkened. "If this is true, then our actions may have had unintended consequences. We could have inadvertently sparked a civil war within the Zarkonian Empire." Harper nodded grimly. "Exactly. And the Enlightened, they want to meet with us. They believe we can help each other bring an end to this conflict." Alina felt a glimmer of hope amid the turmoil. "Then we have to at least hear them out. This could be the key to finding a peaceful resolution." Chen considered the proposal for a moment, then nodded. "All right, Doctor. Set a course for the coordinates the Enlightened provided. Let's see what they have to say." As the Prometheus changed direction, Elena couldn't help but feel a mixture of trepidation and excitement. The fate of two civilizations now rested on the outcome of this meeting. Could they find a way to end the war without further bloodshed? The journey to the Enlightened's hideout was tense, with the crew on high alert for any sign of Zarkonian pursuit. But as they approached the designated coordinates, a hidden subspace beacon guided them to a remote asteroid field, where a small fleet of Zarkonian ships lay in wait. Hailing the lead vessel, Chen's voice was calm and measured. "This is Captain Zora Chen of the UEDF Prometheus. We've come in response to your invitation." After a moment of silence, a familiar face appeared on the view screen. Zixera, the Zarkonian they had encountered on the streets of the capital. "Welcome, Captain Chen, Dr. Reeves," Zixera said, their voice tinged with both relief and apprehension. "We are grateful you have come. Please, dock with our flagship, and we will discuss how we might end this senseless war." As the Prometheus maneuvered towards the Enlightened's vessel, Elena felt a surge of hope. Perhaps, through this unexpected alliance, they could find a path to lasting peace between humanity and the Zarkonians. Once aboard the Enlightened flagship, the human delegation was greeted by a group of Zarkonians, their body language and mannerisms conveying a sense of cautious optimism. "We are the Enlightened," a tall, imposing figure with intricate markings on their carapace announced. "I am Xanthar, one of our leaders. We have heard much about your species, and we believe we may have a common goal." Chen stepped forward, her posture radiating both confidence and diplomacy. "Then let us begin our discussion, Xanthar. Time is of the essence, and we must find a way to end this conflict before it escalates further." As the two delegations sat down to negotiate, Elena could sense the underlying tension in the room. The Zarkonians, while willing to work with the humans, were clearly wary of their intentions. And the humans, for their part, were mindful of the treachery they had already experienced at the hands of the Zarkonian Empire. But as the talks progressed, a glimmer of understanding began to emerge. Xanthar and the other enlightened leaders shared their concerns about the current regime's warmongering and its devastating impact on their people. They spoke of a deep desire for change, for a return to the Zarkonian ideals of exploration, scientific advancement, and peaceful coexistence. In turn, Chen and Elena outlined humanity's own struggles, the hard-won victories, the heavy sacrifices, and a longing for a future free from the threat of alien conquest. They emphasized their willingness to work towards a diplomatic solution if the Enlightened were truly committed to ending the war. As the negotiations continued, a tentative plan began to take shape. The Enlightened would provide the humans with critical intelligence about the Zarkonian military, allowing them to disrupt the regime's efforts to regroup and launch a counterattack. In exchange, the UEDF would supply the Enlightened with advanced technology and resources to aid their uprising against the current leadership. It was a risky gambit, fraught with uncertainty. But as Elena looked into the determined eyes of her Zarkonian counterparts, she knew that they shared a common dream, a future where their species could coexist and even thrive together. "Then it is agreed," Xanthar announced, their mandibles clicking in what Elena now recognized as a gesture of goodwill. "We will work together to bring an end to this war and to forge a new era of peace and understanding between our peoples." As the delegates shook hands, a sense of relief and cautious optimism filled the room. The path ahead was still uncertain, but for the first time since the Zarkonian invasion, Elena felt a glimmer of hope that their species could find a way to coexist. Back on the Prometheus, Chen and Elena briefed the rest of the crew on the agreement with the Enlightened. There were concerns, of course, about the risks involved and the potential for betrayal. But the captain's unwavering resolve and the doctor's passionate advocacy for the alliance won over even the most skeptical members of the team. As the Prometheus and the Enlightened fleet set a course to confront the Zarkonian regime, Elena stood at the viewport, watching the stars stream by. She knew that the battle ahead would be fierce, but she also understood that the stakes had never been higher. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance, and it was up to them to forge a new future, one where humanity and the Zarkonians could stand together, not as conquerors and conquered, but as partners in the great adventure of exploration and discovery that lay beyond the stars. With a deep breath, Elena turned to join her crewmates, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. For the first time since the Zarkonian invasion, she felt a sense of true purpose, not just to defend Earth, but to build a brighter tomorrow for all of humanity, and perhaps for the Zarkonians as well. The final confrontation was about to begin, and the outcome would echo through the annals of history, shaping the course of interstellar relations for generations to come.